Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of Palma Yacht Crew Vlogs right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Rhea, I am your host, and today I am glad to welcome back Nick from Aquaholics. How are you, Nick?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Good. Well, I'm really pleased to have you back because just prior to the last interview we did, well, no, actually it was after the last interview we did, you were waiting. It was in anticipation, maybe a week and a half until you were going to get that 100,000 subscribers. And you've now achieved your goal.
Yeah, it's amazing, absolutely incredible. If you told me a year ago, and this time last year I was on about 10,000, and I was really, really excited to hit 10,000, and made a little video about it and everything. I was so excited. And if you'd said to me then, oh yeah, this time next year you'll be on 100,000, I would never have believed it. Never. I'd have put money on it.
Well, you got something special in the mail, didn't you?
Yeah. YouTube actually sent me a plaque. I have it here on my desk. There it is. Look at that.
Nice. It's very shiny.
Yeah, solid silver.
Wow.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to say that. You're just supposed to say it's solid silver and leave it at that.
Yeah, so there it is. Got my Aquaholic on there. I don't know whether you can see that. Hang on.
Oh yeah, we got it.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's a nice thing that they do actually. You get one at 100,000, which is a silver one, and you get one at 1 million, I think, which is a gold one, and then I think there's one at, I don't know, 10 million or something, which is a, I don't know, diamond encrusted or something. Yeah, but it's not something I would have ever guessed. And in actual fact, since that happened, when did that happen? I think it was around March time, and then we're now to 130, past 130,000 subscribers. So it's just. It's accelerating, if anything, so it's astonishing.
I can imagine. And then you also had another milestone just a couple of days ago, actually. You hit 250,000 views in one day.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I think the previous peak, and it was literally just one fluke day in the past, it hit just short of 200, it had 199 or something like that, just for one day, and then dropped back again. And then I put a video up on Sunday. It was one I'd done with Bob Dennison, Dennison Yachting over in Miami, of a West Ship 108 super yacht. And the channel was running pretty hot anyway. It was getting loads of views, and then that one went up on Sunday, and it just kind of exploded, and it just went absolutely mad. I'd never seen numbers like it, and it was getting regularly sort of 11,000-12,000 views an hour. And then you get the actual stats in the next day, and it was 250,000 views for the whole day. So it was incredible.
What made that video special? Like, what was so different about that one compared to the other ones that made it hit that 250,000 mark?
I think it wasn't anything. I mean, it was an interesting boat, and it was a nice video, but it wasn't anything super special. It wasn't anything completely off the chart. I think it was a culmination of the fact that the channel was running hard anyway. And so there were lots of people around and looking at it and stuff like that. Subscriber numbers. So when you put a video up, what it does is if they have clicked the little bell, which most do, then when a new video goes up, it emails them and tells them there's a new video by this channel, whichever channel it is. And so I think that it was a combination of there were lots of people looking, and then that video went up. We were past 100,000, well past, we're up to 130,000 subscribers. So this email went out to sort of, I don't know, maybe 100,000 people saying, hey, Nick's put a new video on. And obviously a lot of them were, we've also got the situation where a lot of people are at home at the moment, which of course is changing things. And a lot of people thought, it's a new video by Aquaholic, let's go and have a look. And so I think it was a culmination, rather than it being about that particular video, which is a perfectly good video and a nice boat, but it wasn't anything, as I say, that was completely different to what I'd done before. I think it was a combination of factors, and that just fired it into the stratosphere.
Well, you know what? Congratulations. That's, it's nice to get that kind of feedback after the amount of work you put in.
Well, it's the nice thing about YouTube is you do see the results straight away. You can actually watch it happening, and then the next day you get a sort of a progress report of the previous day. You get how many views, how many hours of watch time, and that kind of thing. So it's nice. It's quite rewarding to be able to watch it go.
Yeah, I can.
And you can work on it and fine tune it. And I'll sometimes, for example, I'll change. I think that video maybe could do better, so I'll change the thumbnail of this, or I'll change something on that, or change the title slightly, and just continually fine tune it. And it's like an engine. You just need to keep keep it running smoothly and running the best it can.
Nice. Well, you know, one thing that I did notice after the last interview that we did, and I put your interview up on my YouTube channel, the comments that were given were what people liked the most about you was that you were just really down to earth. You were just a genuine kind of person, and you really enjoyed what you did. And that's what kept them coming back for more.
Yeah, well, I mean, in some ways, part of the reason for starting this was as a good excuse to get on big boats because I wanted to see them. Because I mean, I don't have access to these super yachts ordinarily. I do have, to some degree I do, because I know people in the industry and that sort of thing. But getting on the really big stuff, you know, you kind of need a good excuse. And that was sort of what this was. And these videos is basically me wanting to look at every area on the boat and wanting to enthuse about it and see what's new and see what's different and see what's great about this boat or that boat. And so I just do that, but I just have to be carrying a camera, and that's about it.
So I guess where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I've been in the industry a very long time. I've been in the industry for 30 years as a broker and then as a journalist. So I do have, you know, some good contacts to get me going, which is always the difficult bit. But Aquaholic now is kind of standing on its own 2 feet. People aren't doing it because they know me and because of the stuff I've done in the past, perhaps with them. They're now doing it just because, well, it's Aquaholic and they want to be on Aquaholic, which is a nice position to be in.
Well, there is still one unmentionable that hasn't gotten back to you. We will not say the name, but once again, we'll put that plea out there stating that we think you're missing a great opportunity.
Well, it's frustrating. There's 1 or 2 brands that are difficult to communicate with, shall we say. And, you know, the thing is, I would have thought that the current situation is the perfect indicator that you really need to be online as much as possible. And actually what Aquaholic has become is a 24-hour-a-day virtual boat show. That's exactly what it is. You go to a boat show, go onto boats and walk around them and have a look at them. And that's precisely what Aquaholic does. And the interesting thing is that, you know, if you look at the monthly views, I mean, it's getting 4 million views a month. And that's, broadly speaking, about 1 million people, because on average people watch 4 videos, and I think the reality is perhaps that some people watch 1 video and some people watch 10, but nonetheless the average is 4. So you've got 1 million people, 1 million individual people a month. Well, that's bigger than Dusseldorf and Southampton and Cambo show put together, and it's every month. It's every single month, and it's free. So you know, obviously I'm very biased, I'm very pro Aquaholic, but I do sometimes struggle to understand why you wouldn't want to be on it.
Well, do you know what? As somebody who has been in marketing for 30 years, I'm with you all the way. It's nothing to do with boats. It's the fact is, if I had the opportunity, whether I'd be selling widgets or what I was selling, if I had the opportunity to expose myself to that size audience for free, I wouldn't be saying no, come hell nor high water.
It's to be fair, I mean, there's 1 or 2 people that are, as I say, 1 or 2 businesses that are struggling, but most are really getting behind it, and some really big names, you know, Sunseeker, Princess, Fairline, Denison Yachting. Yeah, there are some big names getting behind it and really enthusiastic about it. Lots more. I mean, you know, Pearl Yachts and all sorts of people. So largely the response I get is very positive. So you know, I kind of focus on that really.
Well, I have to laugh because I do follow you, and recently, for lack of being anywhere near boats, you've been doing something completely different in order to continue doing what you do, but you're taking us on little jaunts around the countryside.
Yeah, well, I'm very fortunate. I mean, the big problem for everybody at the moment in terms of YouTube is getting content, because no matter what you do, whether you're reviewing cars or whether you're into cycling or whatever, the problem everyone has is actually getting out and making videos. And I'm incredibly fortunate in that in January I was out at the Dusseldorf boat show and did quite a few videos there, and then in February I went out to Miami and got quite a few videos there. And what that left me with is a little bank of videos which I'm gradually plowing through. But of course, they won't last forever, and we don't know when the lockdown is finishing. And so I was uploading at the rate of 3 a week and have been for probably 6 months. So it basically is every Sunday, Tuesday and Friday, midday UK time, I upload a video. Well, with these videos I've got left, I'm thinking, well, I'm going to have to dial this back a bit, which I really didn't want to do, but I dropped it back to 2 videos a week, and with the proviso that if nothing much changes in the next few weeks, it might have to drop down to 1. So I'm then thinking, well, I'd rather be keeping it up to 3. And I was thinking about this, I was having a walk, and I'm very fortunate. I live in Torquay, it's some beautiful coast walks and paths and that sort of thing. And I try and walk every day because I figure you've got to get out and try and stay fit at least. And I was walking around and I thought, this is so nice, I should film this. So I did a video of a walk, and it's about a 2-hour walk, and the video I think is about 40 minutes long, something like that. Some really beautiful scenery. It is lovely here. And it went down very well. Well, it's funny actually, because it's not as popular as the super yacht stuff, because it doesn't grab people who aren't already sort of fans. And in terms of subscribers actually, although there's a lot of them, they account for about 20% of the actual views of each video, and then 80% is people where YouTube has punted it out and said as a suggestion, and people have clicked on it. Well, with these walk videos, that people aren't clicking on them as much because they're not as eye-catching as the super yacht. But so they're not desperately successful in terms of numbers. But what's interesting is that the comments, I've never had such positive comments. People absolutely love them in the comments. So I mean, it's a weird situation where they're kind of the least popular, most popular videos I've ever done.
Yeah, no, it's great to see that you're adapting and you're changing and you're doing what you need to do. And for those of us that have been in lockdown for 6 or 7 weeks, I mean, what more would you want than a beautiful video of someone taking a walk along the seashore?
Well, so we're very fortunate here. We have got some great views and vistas, but also my second walk, I don't know how long you watched it for, but there's a little village in Torquay called Cockington, and it's a 16th century thatched village. It's absolute sort of chocolate box stuff. So I had a walk up there, took the camera up there, and had a wander around there. And and I do them very early in the morning. But the trick is to get up at sort of 5:30, 6 in the morning and do them before anybody else is up and out, hopefully. And so it's quite unusual to see these places which are normally so busy, because they are such beautiful places and very tourist orientated. To walk around them and have them to yourself is quite a unique perspective on them. But yeah, very, very lucky with where I live to be able to do this. There's lots of places obviously where it wouldn't work at all.
Well, so I mean, I just had notification the other day that Monaco Yacht Show is still looking to go ahead. Are you going to be there doing your thing?
Well, we were talking about this recently, myself and Marianne, my other half. And the big question, I think, is going to be flights, whether we'll be allowed to fly this year, and when that might start. But I'm actually thinking now that if the lockdown eases sufficiently that these boat shows are on, if there are no flights, I'm going to get in my car, I'm going to drive up to the Channel Tunnel, go through Channel Tunnel and drive down through France and spend a week down there and just get a load of videos of super yachts to take me through the winter. So that's my plan. If I can't fly, I'm going to drive down.
Well, don't you have a sailboat?
Oh, what, sorry?
Don't you have a boat?
I do have a boat, but it would take much too long to go on the boat. Much too long. Yeah, I mean, in a car, it's sort of straight across France at 80 miles an hour.
That's
and in
true.
a boat, it's, you either go all the way around, which is a long way, or you go down through the canals, which is 5 miles an hour. So, yeah, if it happens and it's not flying, it's going to be the car. But yeah, I'm really hoping that obviously Cannes and Monaco go ahead, and Southampton here in the UK. But my concern is flights. I think flights, it'd be a while before they get back up to speed. I think people will be very wary of wanting to get onto planes, because you're in such close proximity, not just in the planes, but in the airports and that kind of thing. So, it's very much a watching brief. But yes, to answer the question, very much hoping to be down at Monaco for sure.
Well, I think they're talking about finding that price-wise, the flights are going to be increasing by quite a bit, because with the social distancing, they will have to leave the middle seat empty, because we all know what they've been doing to commercial airlines lately. It's like, if we can cram people in like tin, in a tin can, we will, a little bit like sardines. And now with social distancing, that is completely not possible. So it's literally, if you're going to fly a plane, you're going to have half that plane empty. So, I guess we'll see if prices increase as a result.
Yeah, it's possible, I guess. I mean, I suppose there's market forces as well, and that if people were prepared to pay more, they would already be charging more. So maybe people just won't pay it. I don't know. But the other thing is, it's all well putting bigger gaps in the airplanes, but I mean, you know what it's like queuing to get on a plane, whether you're at the terminal, at the lounge area of the terminal, whether you're in the jet bridges going onto the planes. Can you imagine those jet bridges when you walk down to get onto the plane, or those little buses that take you out sometimes to the planes?
Oh yeah.
Keeping 2 meters apart, everyone keeping 2 meters apart. It would take an hour to load a plane, wouldn't it?
Oh, at least, especially those buses. Those are like my least favorite, because literally the bus is, you think the plane is small, then you get into the bus, which is even smaller, and you're trying to cram the same amount of people they crammed into the plane into one bus. And yeah, luggage, carry-on luggage, etc., is too much. So yeah, hopefully things will get going. I mean, it is September, the end of September, and we are only, at the end of April. And we're already seeing straight across Europe an easing of restrictions. So let's hope that continues and we don't see a second wave of anything. We just see positive, healthy news straight across the board, and we can all go back to living our best lives.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed, because it really does feel like everything was on hold for a minute, and it's the same for everybody, of course. But yeah, it's a weird situation, a very, very weird situation, and the sooner we can get back to normal, the better. And what it must be costing the country, well, all these countries, and the economies and businesses and that kind of thing. There's a lot of talk about government loans and all this kind of stuff. Don't worry, we'll help support your business, we'll give you a loan, but they're going to want it back. So it's an extra burden on each of these businesses. And yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to find out what the aftermath of all this is, even if they do clear up the virus situation. And even that is, remains to be seen, because ultimately, once people start moving around and the lockdown eases and everything else, the virus isn't going to be gone. You only need a couple of people who've got it to give it to a couple of people more, and then those 4 people give it to 8 people, and 8 people give it to 32 people, and it's exactly what happened the first time around. So yeah, it's such uncharted waters ultimately, isn't it? It's really, we've never known anything, not just in our lifetime, but I don't recall any time in history where they've literally tried to lock down not just one country, but whole continents almost. It's never happened. So it's a weird time. It's a weird time to be alive.
Well, I try to explain it to my children, and it's hard to explain, because I mean, in my generation, we haven't even seen war. Do you know what I mean? Like there is absolutely nothing that has prepared us for the reality that we see today. And our children that are growing up right now, they live in a very politically correct society where everything is kind of there, and they don't have to worry about anything. And we all are fighting for our little rights to do whatever it is that we want to do, because we feel that we aren't being given our rights as human beings. And then something like this happens, and all of a sudden reality kicks you hard. And I hope that, with my children anyways, they're 11 and 14, that this is a valuable lesson for them, that we all are humanity as one, and together we can either be the solution or we can be the problem.
Yeah, it's interesting times. I do hope that what people get out of this, it's always nice to think there'll be something positive out of a bad situation. And I hope that what people get out of it is a greater understanding of how valuable our freedom is, and a greater appreciation of the small things that you take for granted. Just being able to go out for a meal, just say, let's go down to wherever, your favorite restaurant or whatever else, that kind of stuff, which we can't do anymore. Just going to go to the pub or whatever else. These are tiny things that you don't normally, they're not a big deal that you sort of look forward to, like a holiday or whatever else. And maybe now people will appreciate that kind of thing more, and maybe people will have a better understanding of their mortality, and maybe will be better inclined or more inclined to try and live their best life now while they can, rather than just thinking, well, I've got an infinite amount of time, which is kind of how people normally act. You don't think about it. You don't think, well, in 30 years' time or 40 years' time, whatever it might be, I won't be here anymore. And I think maybe this will perhaps focus a few people's minds, and maybe that will be a good legacy that comes of it. But who knows? Who knows? Perhaps everyone will just go.
Well, hopefully we'll just be kinder to each other. Just kinder would be lovely.
That would be a start.
That and a McDonald's cheeseburger for me. Really. That's probably really bad to say. I'm going to have vegetarians and vegans out there going, oh, what did you say? But yeah, I'm sorry. Give me extra pickles on that McDonald's cheeseburger, and for €1.50, I'm walking away a happy girl.
Fair enough. Well, a cheap date.
I know, right? Don't tell everyone.
Okay.
Well, Nick, I thank you ever so much for your time, and keep us up to date. I'd love to have you back here occasionally, and you can keep us up to date on your latest popular videos and what your plans are in the future, and continue to bring us some of those little hidden treasure spots that you have around your home there. So I think sometimes we tend to not explore as much as we would have otherwise, and this is a perfect opportunity for learning. So thank you for that.
It's a pleasure. Yeah, no problem at all. No, we'll try and keep it all going, and hopefully we'll be able to get a few more yacht tours going as well in the near future.
Oh, I'm sure you will. It's all going to happen. Just keep positive, and we're going to see you at the Monaco. Well, you'll be at the Monaco Yacht Show. I won't be, because I don't go to shows very often. But
there's a story there, isn't there?
No, there's no story. There's no story. I just I'm socially awkward sometimes, so.
You need to understand that all of us are just winging it. None of us know what we're doing there. So you don't be the same as the rest of us.
Well, maybe we'll see you one of these years at the Monaco Yacht Show. But in the meantime, I'm sure you're going to come to Palma at some stage, and I'd love to meet up for a cup of coffee or a glass of wine or whatever it is your drink of choice, and we'll catch up. But thank you ever so much for all the amazing videos that you bring us. And of course, as many of your fans say, thank you for being so down to earth and so real. It is muchly appreciated. And I think that's part of what brings you the fame that you have.
Well, it's very kind of you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Nick. Once again, you've been watching another edition of Palma Yacht Crew Vlogs right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Rhea. I have been your host. Tune in again for another episode.